Unquote.
Well, let's bring in our panel to debate the issue. Matt Klink is the owner and president of Klink Campaigns, and Mally Smith is a Democrat strategist and is former political director for the Kamala Harris campaign in North Carolina. Great to have you, gents. So when I think 4th of July, ED, we were celebrating all last week and on the weekend. We're continuing to celebrate. I do not think Somalia as my main destination here. But, Matt, this is exactly what we're seeing with this mayor. Again, no surprise, really, because maybe where she's from, where she's representing. But your reaction to this?
I mean, look, she has her own free will to do what she wants. I did have to look up the city. I had never heard of it before. It is not a majority Somali population city. In fact, it's got a significant number of Jewish residents. All she has to do is justify why she chose to spend America's 250th birthday and our independence from the country that she fled as a little child to come to the richness and glory that is America. So more power to her. I think it's a wasted opportunity. But again, she has to justify it to her constituents. And if they accept it, then far be it for me to offer much criticism.
Yeah, Mally, is it up to her to justify it? Or is this just, freedom of choice? I mean, it's one of the freedoms that we cherish so much.
Well, I do think Matt's right in that if she doesn't get criticized by her constituents, I guess it's fine. For me, though, I think it's okay to go visit other cities or in other countries to increase, diplomatic or economic ties if you're the mayor. But as a political strategist, I would suggest that on July 4th, and especially on the July 4th of 250, spend that time in your community and then do the trip to Somalia the next day or the next week. So to me, it's the timing really is just a dumb political move. But, she's newly elected, so you learn on the job as you go on these things.
So just to clarify, Mally, you would not have advised her to do that.
I would have said, let's do this the next week.
Okay, got it. Well, turning to this, a New York Times reporter is getting slammed for a post she made on X about the America 250 celebrations. On Friday, she posted this: "Why are we having so many jets scorching over D.C.? Nerve-wracking. I get 250 celebrations, but it feels like the apocalypse." So she later explained that she suffers from PTSD from covering wars and that why that bothered her so much. So maybe we can sort of understand that. But it does seem she was very negative, Matt, on the displays of patriotism in our country, especially the fact that our military, they deserve so much credit at this time. And then her saying that, it kind of put a damper on it.
Yeah, well, look, I'm chuckling here. Common sense would dictate that, heaven forbid, there's going to be military flyovers and even Paris the Thought fireworks on the 4th of July. Maybe she should have gone somewhere more. The New York Times, I'm sure, would be happy to sponsor the patriotic poetry reading in their closest library. But on the other side, it does highlight the elite media sensibilities versus American patriotism. Everyone who was out on that mall saw those planes flying over. And as a celebration of the power, the history, and the people that make America great, except for some radical New York Times reporter who finds something to criticize. So more power to her. She can go and sip her Chablis and Brie and talk about how oppressed she is somewhere else. But most of America just smiles and says, whatever.
Yeah. Mally, I didn't know that she had the PTSD issue. I get that. But like every American, one of my favorite things at every football game is just waiting for those jets to fly over, because it gives you goosebumps. It's an amazing feeling and an amazing show of might, especially 250th birthday and going over the National Mall. But some people haven't been getting into the spirit. It did seem like this 4th of July especially, people were looking for ways to say why they didn't care, why they weren't festive, didn't feel patriotic. Did you get that sense?
Well, on this specific case, I'll take her word on the PTSD. If she has that, that's got to be tough.
Yeah.
I have no problem with the flyovers or the fireworks. The only thing I'd say as a DC resident with a dog, the fireworks can be kind of tough because it really gets my dog upset. But thinking through this, I sent my dog to have a vacation with his grandparents in rural North Carolina these past 2 weeks. So they drugged him in North Carolina for the fireworks there. so I'll get him back. But no, there's nothing wrong with the flyovers or the fireworks.
Yeah, that endears us to your situation, Valley, because I think we're all feeling it with our dogs. We love them so much. We want to make sure they're okay. But meanwhile, a headline from the Gateway Pundit, they pulled no punches. It reads bluntly, disgusting. New poll finds Democrats value BLM flags more than the United States flag and the Confederate flag over Trump's flag. So this is really concerning. The YouGov poll found that 74% of Democrats had a positive view of the BLM flag, which is slightly more than the 72% who had a similar view of the American flag. So real quick, Matt, I mean, not surprising here. We've been getting into these poll numbers, and to Edie's point, we have seen that the Democrats were not overly excited about celebrating America 250.
Well, a couple observations. One, let's keep in mind that polls are like perfume. They're to be smelled, not swallowed. So it just is a snapshot in time. But it does highlight something larger about the Democratic Party. For the Democratic Party, they believe in what race you are or what color your skin is more important than the fact that we're all Americans. The term e pluribus unum, from many one, which is historic to this country, is something that the Democratic Party has resoundingly run away from. They make it a point to reward you for your differences, to not assimilate, which is the exact opposite of what has historically been the case for America. So these polling results really don't surprise me. It's something that the Democratic Party is going to have to deal with.
And they are. We were just talking about it earlier. Josh Shapiro, Wes Moore, Joe Manchin. Everybody is kind of figuring out, how are we going to take care of this issue? How are we going to determine what our party is, who we are, what we stand for? And I think that that's a big battle on the horizon, the near horizon. Matt Klenk and Mally Smith, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.